Hi and welcome to Game Domain. Today we are ranking the first generation major video game consoles. Number 4, Magnavox Odyssey. So the first ever home video game console was created by Ralph Baer in 1966, called the Brown Box, but this was only a prototype. At this age, families started to invest in TVs, and the idea of creating a video game console had been in the mind of some people at the time. But it was Ralph Baer who created and completed a prototype. Later on, it was shown to Magnavox, which signed a licensing agreement the following year. It was launched as the Odyssey. The video game console sold for $100 around 1976. The console had several games in it. You have to place a kind of translucent overlay for the background on the TV. It includes several games like tennis, hockey, haunted house, cat and mouse, and submarine. Most of the games in this console is for 2 players, so if you don't have anyone to play with, then this is not the console for you. And the downside is that it does not have any sound, so it was a bit boring. Number 3, RCA Studio 2. This gaming console came out in January 1997. Although this console was one of the worst ever to have been released, I would have liked this better than the Magnavox Odyssey. There's a sound that comes out from the controller itself, but the consumers were not a fan of the fact that the controllers are attached on the console itself, and it was very different from the usual analog controls. Instead, it uses a series of key buttons that looks like a number keypad, which would have been okay for my standards because in this generation people use their keyboards for gaming, so it's just a matter of getting used to. This console was the second programmable system in the world, retailed for $149.99. The RCA Studio 2 was released a little too late. It came out later than Fairchild Channel F, and the games were all in jet black and white, which makes the situation look worse because of other color video games that were released at the time. It absolutely looked so primitive compared to technology advancements during that time. Number 2, Home Pong by Atari. Although the console was released later than the Magnavox Odyssey, the Pong game had been around for quite some time on arcade. People used to line up at arcades to play this game. The feature which makes it better than the Magnavox Odyssey is that it has a scoring system, plus it has a game sound. So that makes it more exciting to play. Also, you don't need an overlay because the game has its own native color. Still, this console is made for 2 players. A lot of different models of Pong came out the same year in 1976, differing from 2 to 4 player consoles and 1 to 16 games consoles. Retail's price were around $100 to $150. The consoles came from a lot of different manufacturers, and they were able to easily develop these because of the idea of the Pong chip that Atari created. Although Pong in the chip was limited to manufacturers, the idea of integrating complex circuits in a chip was a very common idea in those times. Later on, it led to a lot of imitations of Pong consoles from different video game manufacturers. Number 1, Fairchild Channel F. This video game console came out at the retail price of $169.95 in November of 1976. So far at that time, this console was the most expensive one, and for a number of reasons. The games were programmable for one, so there were more games that you could play. This is one of the main reasons that the RCA 2 failed in the market, although both had programmable features. The Fairchild Channel F has a joystick for a controller. The main body of the controller is a large hand grip with a triangular top, the top being the portion that moved to an 8-way direction control. The joystick does not have a base, and the control functioned as a fire button when pushed down, which I can say gives off the feel of being high-tech at those standards. It also has a brightly colored screen display, a scoring system in the games, game sounds. Compared to all of the first-generation gaming consoles, for me the Fairchild Channel F is best. Based on the standards during those time, I'd say this gaming console is a must-have. Thank you for watching. What is your favorite first-generation console? Let us know in the comments, and remember to subscribe to Game Domain for more countdown videos.